Hey everyone, it's Karen with Yes Please PaperCrafts. And today I've been in my craft room working on creating some embellishments to go with some base pages that I created as part of a challenge. So last year, about 6 months ago, I challenged myself to take a 12 by 12 paper pad and completely use it up. And I ended up creating 20 base pages for scrapbooking and about 12 greeting cards. And I did a project share video, which I posted on my channel, and I'll put a link to that video in the description below if you're interested in checking that out, where I shared everything I created. Well, that project was a little bit more challenging than I was expecting it to be, and I never could use up all of the scraps. And so I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, maybe I should take these scraps and turn them into some embellishments, because a lot of times when you're working with paper pads and you're trying to do scrapbooking, if a paper pad is not part of a collection, you can't really go out and purchase pre-made embellishments. And so a lot of times when I'm working with those types of paper pads, I have to create the embellishments myself by using the cut apart or fussy cutting things out of the papers. And so anyway, I just decided maybe that might be fun to take all of the scraps that I have left over from that project and turn them into embellishments that I could use when I use these base pages for scrapbooking. Okay, so one of the things that I actually made while I was sharing that project was this little pocket, and it's a pocket with a tag, and I used a cut apart from the paper pad, and it had 4x6 cards, and I just took one of the 4x6 cards and I just folded it over, rounded the corners, and I glued it on the bottom and across this side, and then I took some of the leftover cardstock and created this little tag and turned this into a pocket. Now this is kind of like a project life card. So you can't really see the inside of this, which is good because it has a little saying on there. And they had multiples of this paper in the paper pad, and I had already used that on one of my base pages. And I really didn't need another card with that same saying. And so I decided to just turn that into this little pocket. Okay, so that got me to thinking about Project Life cards and all of the Project Life cards I have in my stash in my craft room. And I have quite a few of those because I've been going to Tuesday mornings off and on for the past couple of years, and they have a lot of these sets over at Tuesday mornings for a really great price. And I've seen them there for $6.99 or even $5.99, and sometimes even $4.99 for these really large sets. And these retail in the store for $29.99. And so it's a really awesome deal, and you get a lot of these little cards. Now I have a whole bunch of these in my stash, but I don't do pocket scrapbooking or Project Life. But I do 12 by 12 scrapbooking layouts. And I do use these cards for scrapbooking and also for card making. For scrapbooking, I will take them and use them as journaling spots, and then also I can fussy cut out things and use them for embellishments. And these make awesome greeting cards because you can just take the little 3x4 cards like this one here, and you can just pop it onto the front of a card, and it's a really quick and easy way to make a card. Okay, so the one problem with these sets though is that they have so many cards in here that I don't know if I'm going to get through using all of these cards. And so I was thinking, what else could I make with these Project Life cards that I could use with my scrapbooking? So one of the things I like to do with scrapbooking layouts is to add journaling, but a lot of times I don't leave myself enough room to do journaling, and it's kind of nice to have pockets on your scrapbook layouts that you can tuck some hidden journaling. And I decided to play around with these Project Life cards, and I came up with this little pocket journaling card. And I just wanted to share this with you guys and just show you how you can make these. Now I took 3 different Project Life cards. They were 3x4s, and I turned it into this really cute pocket with this little journaling card inside. So this one here, I have a whole bunch of them. This one here has a little cutout, which I used a punch. And you don't necessarily have to do that. I just think it looks cute. And so I have a whole bunch here that I've been playing around with this and just having a lot of fun making all of these little pockets with the journaling cards, and just trying to figure out the best way to actually make these to where it's easy to get the cards in and out. One of the biggest challenges with making these was that the cards are 3x4, and the insert, or the card that you're sliding into the pocket, is also a 3x4. And so I kind of ran into a few challenges with the card fitting into the pocket once I had the pocket created. So I thought I would just make a few and talk a little bit about how I made it and give y'all some tips on what you can do if the pocket is a little bit too small once you have it finished. And then I also had a few other things that I made using these Project Life cards, and I wanted to share that with you real quick. So let me go ahead and share these other ones, and then if you want to stick around for the tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made this little pocket and journaling card set. Okay, so one of the other things that I decided to try was to create a pocket where I was using the full card, and you can see here this one is like cut off, or it's like half of the card. So this pocket is more of a hidden journaling because you can't really see much of the journaling at all, where this one you can see the top part of that journaling card. And then this is important now because you kind of need to have that hole there so that you can get your hand in there to pull the card out. I also decided to try to do one of those, and I used the leftovers from the punch that I have. I have a thumb notch punch, which I'm using to punch out this little hole here, but you could also just use a hole punch and just punch a half circle. That didn't come out right. You can also use a circle punch and punch a half circle there to create that little notch. And I took the leftovers from it and I just added it to the journal card. And so instead of punching the front of the card, which if I would have punched a hole here, it would have ran right into the top of the house. So I thought, well, I'll just put something on the journaling card itself that I can use to pull it in and out of the pocket. So you could do either way. You could either create a notch here so that you can get the card in and out of the pocket, or you can just add something to the top of your card that you can use to pull this in and out of the pocket. Isn't that cute? I just love that one. And then this is another one that I did where I used the entire card. This one, it wouldn't have worked really well to have it cut down because it has this border around it. So depending on the Project Life cards you have or the cards you have, you might have to do different methods of building the pockets just so that you can utilize the design that's on the card. I also created this one where I used some washi tape. This is a 4x6 Project Life card. I folded it in thirds, folded it together here so that you have this part here that doesn't have any folds. Used some washi tape to join it together, and created the notch here so that I could add the journaling card. So you can also use washi tapes or strips of paper to join these together, and that might work better sometimes depending on the card that you have. And it does give you a little bit more room inside the pocket because you are making it a little bit bigger than the 3x4 size of this card here. I also created the little file folder. I thought this was super cute. All I did to do this one is I just folded in half a 4x6 Project Life card. I added a little paper clip, and then I just created a little tab. I used a corner round punch and a strip of paper, and I layered some washi tape over it and just cut it to the size I wanted. And that was pretty easy to do. And this is just a folded over Project Life card with the little tab added to it. And then to keep it closed, I just added this little paper clip. And I think the paper clip is cute because it just kind of adds a little bit of decorative accent onto the folder. So these are pretty easy to make because that's just folding it over. And I added some washi tape to the top and just rounded the corners. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the tutorial, and I will show you how I made these little pockets using 3 Project Life cards. Okay, so what you're going to need for this project is some type of adhesive, and I like to use a liquid glue because it gives you time to move things around and get them lined up. And then once it dries, it's going to stay in place and your pocket's not going to come open. And one of my favorite glues now is this Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. And I'll have a link to that in the description below if you're interested in checking this out. But I love this glue. It's very thin, it's super easy to use, and my bottle never gets clogged. And so I really love using this glue. Okay, and then the other thing you're going to need is a scoreboard. And if you don't have a scoreboard, you can just use a ruler and some kind of a tool to make your score lines. Okay, so I also have here a couple of punches. I have a corner rounder punch and also this thumb notch punch. You don't really need to have these necessarily, but if you want rounded corners, you need the corner rounder. And if you want to create the notch, you'll need either this notch punch or you'll need a circle punch. Now this notch punch is called the thumb notch, and it's from We Are Memory Keepers. I did get this recently at scrapbook.com, and I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. And I love this punch because it's super easy to use, and you always get the same shape every time, and I don't have to worry about trying to line up a circle punch and making sure that I have it in the right place. This just makes it a little bit easier to create the notches. Okay, so one more thing you might need would be scissors or a paper trimmer, just in case you have to trim anything down. Sometimes the cards don't fit in there after you create the pocket, so you might have to trim off just a little bit. And you can see here I was trimming off part of another card. And when you do trim things off, you don't really have to take much off of it, just enough to make the card slide more easily in and out of the pocket. Okay, so I went ahead and pre-selected a couple of different sets of cards here. And one of the fun things about doing this project is being able to flip through all of the different cards and try to come up with a combination of cards that would work. So for this pocket, the front of my pocket is going to be this polka dot. The back of the pocket is going to be this tiny polka dot. And then this is going to be the journaling card that's going to slide inside. And I just think that those different combinations of colors and the different patterns work really well together. Now the back of my pocket is going to have this design, but I am going to be using these pockets for scrapbooking, and I'm going to be gluing them down to a page. So I'm not really worried so much about the back of the card. I'm really more worried about what you're going to see on the front of the pocket. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the back of the pocket and we're going to put it onto the scoreboard, and you're going to score at 1/8 inch. No, 1/4 inch. I'm sorry. You're going to score at 1/4 inch, and just along the bottom of the card. And if you have any kind of designs or anything, you want to make sure you have that upright. If you're going to care about what the back looks like, you want to make sure if you have writing in it or anything that you do this at the bottom of the card. Okay, so once we have that score line, you're just going to fold this up on that score line. And we're just going to take this scoring tool and just press that out a little bit more to get a good crease in that. Okay, so that's the back. Now, the next thing we want to do is create the front of the pocket. You're going to take this one here, and we're going to create two score lines. They're going to be 1/2 inch. So if you want to make your pocket exactly 3 by 4, you can go ahead and just score at 1/2 and 3 1/2. But I find that if I do that, sometimes my journaling cards don't fit in there. And so I'm just going to take and move this over just a little bit. Now, if you had a scoreboard that had 1/16 inch measurements on it, you could just do this and just scoot it over 1/16 of an inch. But this scoreboard that I have is a 1/8 inch, the measurements up here. And so I don't really have the option to do that. So I'm just going to push it over away from the edge just a little bit. And then I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And what that's going to do is it's just going to make the pocket just a little bit bigger than the 3 inches. Okay, I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to push it all the way to the edge. And then I'm just going to scooch it back a little bit, so that I can make this just a little bit bigger than 3 inches. Okay, so once you have those score lines, you're going to want to fold this in. This is going to be the top of the pocket, so we're just going to fold those over. Okay, now we're going to take the back of our pocket, and the way that this is going to go together is you're going to glue these two pieces together using that little tab we created on the back. And then we're going to wrap this around to the back, and that's going to create the pocket. And you can see here that I did make my pocket a little bit bigger than this card. So that's going to give me a little bit more room in the pocket. So when I go to slide in my journaling card, it's going to slide in and out much easier. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue this together, and we'll start with the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive down here along the bottom edge. And then I'm going to line that up with the bottom of this card. Make sure I have this going in the right direction. So we're just going to line that up with the bottom. And then what I like to do is I like to pick it up and make sure that I can wrap the ends around and that I have that centered. And that's why using the liquid adhesive is so good, because you can really, you know, kind of move it around until you get everything lined up, and then just press it, and then that will be joined together. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do here is you can either put glue here and just fold it up, or you could put glue on this side and fold it over like that, whichever way you'd like to do it. I kind of like not being able to see the tabs here, so I'm just going to go ahead and put glue here on each one of these tabs. We'll put some on this side, and you want to do this at the same time if you're doing it this way, because when you fold it down, and it's going to be hard to add glue to the other side if you just do these one at a time. So it's better to go ahead and just do this step where you glue both at the same time. Now, I don't like to touch the glue, and to try to get this folded down, to get that piece to come down, I'm going to use the tip of my glue bottle. This is a little tip for you guys. If y'all don't like to get your fingers messy, which I hate getting glue all over my fingers, I'm going to use the tip of my glue bottle to fold that down, and then I can just go ahead and press that out. And then that way I don't have to touch that messy glue and get it all over my fingers. Okay, so there is your pocket, and now you can go ahead and take your little card, your journaling card, and slip it right down into the pocket. And that's just how easy it is to create. Okay, so if you want to add the notch, you're just going to take your notch punch or your circle punch and go into the inside of the pocket like this, line it up in the center, and just go ahead and punch the center out. Okay, so I also wanted to show you how I made this journaling pocket. This is using the full 3x4 card and then adding the little tab up here so that you could have a place to pull the card in and out of the pocket. So this one is made a little bit differently because you do have to have a full 4x6 card and then two 3x4 cards. So you'll need one 3x4 card that's going to be the front. So this is going to be the front of my pocket. This is going to be my journaling card that I tuck into the pocket once it's finished. And then I'm going to be using the 4x6 card as the back and sides of the pocket. Okay? And it's pretty similar to the one that I just showed you, but I just thought that I would give you a demonstration of this one because it's a little bit different and it's using this 4x6 card. So I'm going to get my scoreboard back over here. So I'm going to scooch it over just like I did for the other one and score it 1.5. And then I'm going to flip this around. And this time I'm not going to move it over. I'm just going to do 1.5 because I don't want to make it too big because you are going to see the excess once you attach this card to the front. So I don't want to make this pocket too large because it'll look a little bit strange and you can see around the edges. So let me show you the ones that I created here. I created this pocket right here. It's super cute. Luckily I used a card that was a similar color, but you can see that you can really see the edges of the card here. And if that doesn't bother you, you can make your pocket a little bit bigger. But if you want to make this to where you can't see any of the back part of the card, you may want to just go ahead and score at 1.5 and 3.5, and then, wait, not 1.5 and 4.5, sorry. And just go ahead and make the pocket exactly 3 inches. But I like to make it just a little bit bigger. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this in like this. And I'm going to use my little scoring tool here and just press this crease out. And you'll notice that when I create this pocket, I'm going to have a little bit of a gap here, right there in the middle. So that's how much bigger my pocket's going to be then the journaling card. And so when I go to slide my journaling card inside, I'm going to have plenty of room for it to go in and out. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to do something at the bottom here to make sure that we have this closed at the bottom. You can either glue this at the bottom, but that's going to eliminate some of the space down here. And so when you go to put your card in, it's going to stick out a little bit, probably about that much. But you could just go ahead and glue that together at the bottom. But what I like to do is I'm just going to grab some washi tape, and I'm going to use washi tape to join the bottom together. And so that'll be closed. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab a washi tape here. Let's see, which one do I want to use? I'll just go ahead and use this one here. And you can just get a coordinating one, or you can, actually you're not really going to see this, so it may not matter too much. But I'm just going to go ahead and let me put it on here so it doesn't stick to my table there. Okay, we're just going to put that along the bottom. And most of this is going to get covered up anyway, so you might want to use something that coordinates a little bit with your Project Life cards there, just in case you might see a little bit of that once this pocket is completed, just in case things don't line up exactly. You know, you might not want to use like lime green or something because you might see a little bit of that showing through. Okay, so once we have this part done and we have the bottom closed up, we're just going to take this Project Life card that's going to be the front, and I'm going to go ahead and just glue this onto the front of this card. Now, if you want to round your corners, you might want to go ahead and just round the bottom here using the corner round punch. And you know, sometimes the Project Life cards come with rounded corners, and then there are some sets of Project Life cards that don't have rounded corners. And so if you have the kind that doesn't have the rounded corners, then you can always just leave it square and not, you know, not round the corners. I think my punch is not working because it's got stuff stuck in it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now that I have that rounded off, it makes it a little bit easier to line it up with the front of the card, this card that we're going to put here. I like to do that, and I'm going to just line it up. And you can tell that I have a little bit showing on the edge here. But if that bothers you, you know, you can just make your pocket a little bit smaller, and then you can cut down the card that you're going to be putting on the inside so that you don't see any of that showing through. Okay, so let's just go ahead and glue this down to the pocket. I like to do this particular style of pocket with these Project Life cards that have a design on them that you kind of need to have the entire card showing. So something that has a border or something that has a saying on it that you really can't chop it off, it would look kind of strange. So in this case, this one has a frame around it, and then it has a saying, so it really wouldn't work very well to use it for the other style of pocket that I have been creating. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down and line it up. And I just made it to where it showed a little bit all the way around, and that kind of makes it look more intentional. So let me go ahead and bring this up so you can see. You can see how you can see just a little bit of the pocket on either side and at the bottom. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and round my corners here at the top. And I guess I could have done that before I put the pocket on there, but before I put the other card on there. Okay. Now, because this particular card that I used has a full design, I could actually do the thumb notch punch and put a hole there, but I don't really want to mess up the design of my card. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this card, which is my journaling card, and I'm going to use this side here. Okay, so I'm going to take this little leftover piece of paper that came from the thumb notch punch. So when you punch this thumb notch punch, it actually creates this little half circle. And I'm just going to take that and attach it to the top of this card. And I could use either side. I think I'll use this side. So I'm just going to add some glue here. And we shall put that on the back of this card to create a little place for us to be able to pull this in and out of the pocket. Okay, now once we have that on there, This is a little bit flimsy, so what I like to do is I'll just grab another one of those that I have left over from another pocket that I punched, and I will just add that. Just kind of reinforce it. I'm just going to add another one and just make it a little bit sturdier so that I have something really sturdy to pull on when I'm pulling this card in and out of my pocket. I'm just going to line that up, and that's how I added the little tab to the top. Okay, so now when we slide our card in and out of the pocket, we have a way to grab hold of this hidden journaling and be able to pull that in and out of this little journaling pocket. Okay, so one of the other things you might notice is it's showing a little bit of the card up here at the top right here, and if that bothers you, you can just take this and trim off a little on the bottom, and it's not going to hurt the card at all. And depending on if your card is too tight to fit into the pocket, or if you want to change the make it a little bit shorter, you can always take a little bit off the pocket and just make your card a little bit shorter to make it fit a little bit better. And if you want to, you can go ahead and just add back in the rounded corners. And that's where having this corner rounder punch comes in handy, because if you have to trim the card off and you're using these rounded Project Life cards, then you can go ahead and fix it if you have to trim off a little bit to make it fit better into your pocket. Okay, so that's all I have for this tutorial. I hope y'all did enjoy this tutorial, and if you did, please give this video a like, because it lets me know which videos y'all would like to see on my channel. And if you'd like to see more videos and you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to have you join my channel. So I do have a short video clip of my dog Bella that I'm going to put at the end of this video, but before I share that with you, I thought I would tell you a little bit of a story about the video. So at Christmas, I decided to give my dogs a Christmas present, and they both got sweaters for Christmas. Lilybell got a pink sweater and Bella got a teal blue sweater. And I know that my dog Bella does not like to wear sweaters, but if I don't give her the sweater and she sees that Lilybell gets one, she gets quite upset and she ignores me and she pouts. And so I just would rather give her the sweater, and you know, it's not very expensive, so I give it to her. And occasionally when we go outside and it's cold, that doesn't happen a lot because I live in Louisiana, but when it is cold outside, I do put sweaters on them and she likes to wear it outside. But anyway, so I thought I would try the sweaters on just to make sure they fit. And I put the sweater on Bella, and then I put it on Lilybell, and about 30 minutes later, I didn't see Bella, and I was calling for her and she didn't come, which is really unusual because she's one of these Velcro dogs where she just sticks to me and she goes wherever I go. So whatever room I'm in, she's always there. And so I went hunting for her and running around the house calling her name, and she did not come. And finally I went into my living room, and there she was sitting on my chair. And my dogs are not allowed on the furniture. And she knows that. And she was sitting there on top of my chair on my throw that I had there. And the funny thing is that the throw was exactly the same color as her sweater. And I really think that she thought she was hiding. She must have thought that was good camouflage. And she was hiding. She did not want to see anybody to see her wearing that sweater. And so this little video clip is from right after I found her on my chair. So I hope y'all enjoy that little video. And y'all have an awesome week. And I hope to see you next time. Bye now. Miss Bella, what are you doing on the furniture? You never jump up on the furniture. Do you think you needed to jump up there because you matched that blanket? That is the most funniest thing. You got your new sweater and now you think you should be on the furniture. You better get down. You're not supposed to be up there, you know. Miss Bella, get down. Come on, get down. Bella. Are you going to get down? If looks could kill, that would be it. Would you get down if I take the sweater off? I'm guessing you're not going to wear the sweater. Are we going to be giving that one to Lilybell too? my goodness.